All right, Shalom. This is the brother Shaquat Gabar from the Great Millstone, South Carolina camp, coming at you once again with another lesson. And before I get into my lesson, I want to start off giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and that's laboring in His truth and in the ministry. And salutation to the fellow laborers as well in the ministry, pushing the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in all truth and sincerity, praying to be part of that elect, the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. And Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners, you know, that may look like a heathen nation, but if your bloodline go back to Negro, Latino, and Native American descent, you are considered an Israelite according to the Bible and according to the bloodline and the spirit. Okay? So I'm going to do a quick lesson, you know, getting into this whole Brexit thing, you know, dealing with the European system and adding it up with the scriptures. Because we're in the time of prophecy. And the Bible is simply speaking about prophecies, man. You know, it's a historical book, you know, dealing with the history of the different kingdoms, the history of Israel, you know, once again, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And it also got these other nations in the scriptures too, man. You know, about their history and about the prophecies is what about to take place here in the last days. And that whole Brexit, dealing with the European system, is part of prophecy, man. You know, so I'm gonna, you know, get into the scriptures, and I got an article going into the European system, basically breaking up, man, showing you and relating it back to show you and relating it back to prophecy. You know, because we're in the last days, and the Lord is about to bring all type of division amongst the world, man, especially you so-called white people, you Edomites, because we are at the end of your rulership, your kingdom, and a new rulership is about to take place, which is going to be Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ, which is a so-called black man, and he's going to come back by the ways of the chariots, you know, what the world call UFOs, and he's going to deliver the elect, you know, then he's going to set up his kingdom here on the earth. So all this division amongst the so-called white people, the European system, you know, is all part of biblical prophecy, because this is going to be a major downfall. They're going to play a major role in the downfall of you Edomites. So I'm going to go ahead and get into Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise. So I'm going into the scripture of the vision, you know, the interpretation of the vision that Daniel told the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar about the statue, the image of the golden head, you know, that all the image that he saw, the vision that he saw represented the empires or the kingdoms at that time, you know. So I'm going into verse 40, you know, going into the part with the iron. And the iron at that time was the Roman Empire, okay? You know, so we coming into the time we are in the time that the Roman Empire is being revised by the way of the European system in America, okay? Because one part of the time, the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire, fell during the time the Dark Ages, when the so-called Negroes came into power during the Dark Ages. You know, Constantine, the Byzantine Empire, the Moorish Empire, you know, and all that was prophecy. But now, you know, during that, you know, the 14th century, when after that 1,000-year period, the Edomites came back into power, known as the Bogiers, family, you know, and they came back in the power, whitewashing all the image, you know, of the dark icons, you know, and ever since then they came back into power, you know. So, you know, going back into, you know, the scripture, and it says, Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. And it says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron," going into the Roman Empire. "For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, so do all things. Now all iron," and it said, "And as iron that breaketh, all these shall break in pieces and bruises. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes," now it's getting into the feet or the toes, you know, represent the kingdom here in the last days, you know. And it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay, part of iron, and the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." So the iron mixed with the miry clay, talking about here in the last days, man. Cause the European system, or known as the NATO, the military go back to the NATO, the beast system, the whole beast system. Before it was known as NATO, it was known, they called themselves what, the Treaty of Rome, showing you that the European system is the Roman Empire coming back into power here in these last days. But now we at the end of their rulership, you know. So that was representing the iron and the clay, you know, the Roman Empire, you know, breaking up, man, the European system as today. So I'm gonna keep going on, and it says, verse 42, "And as the toes of the feet was part iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." So that's what you see today, man, over there in the European system. You got some European countries, you know, that's doing good financially, economically, and then you got some not doing well, you know. So that's bringing that division, man. You know, that's part of the iron mingled with clay, you know, and part of the European system. You got some, like I said, some countries being strong and some countries being weak financially. And that all leading into this whole Brexit, especially with the biggest one leaving now is the UK, you know, Britain. Okay. And it says, verse 43, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men," showing you that it's talking about kingdoms, you know, nations, you know. So it's talking about the seed of man. The nation is talking about the European system, which ruled by you Edomites, you so-called white people. And the Lord is bringing that division amongst them. And it says, "But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." So that was, you know, the Lord is bringing that division amongst the European system, amongst these Edomites, man. And they're all the same people. They come from the same bloodline, the bloodline of Esau. You know, their forefather, you know, the Edomites. But the Lord is bringing that division amongst them, because he's going to use them amongst each other, you know, you know, to play a big role of bringing their own empire down, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, get this article about the European system, the whole thing about the Brexit, okay? And this is, this is today, today, August the, I mean, Salaki. This is today, February the 6th, 2020. And this is off the article End Time Ministries. And it says the UK formally leaves the European Union and begins Brexit transition period. Okay. And it says the UK finally left the EU on Friday evening after 47 years of membership. So this is prophecy, man. They've been in unity for 47 years, man. And now the Lord is breaking their system up, man, through the Spirit. Because it's the Most High that controls everything. The Most High put the Spirit on these Edomites to have contention amongst themselves. Look at the state over here in America. The whole thing about Donald Trump, the President Donald Trump of America, the big talks about the impeachment, the votes, the houses, the Democrats and the Republicans, the division amongst them, and this whole big mess about the Donald Trump, and they want to impeach him. So it's division amongst these Edomites, man. And you got certain things. You even got America, the Edomites over here in America. Got contentions with the Edomites over there in Europe. So everything is playing out, man, according to biblical prophecy. Okay, and the Most High Yahweh controls everything. He's working on the kings, represent these governments, mainly these Edomites. He's working on their mind. To bring his will. And his will is to bring division amongst the Edomites. And it's going to lead to a war. Them warring against each other. And ultimately going to lead to their own downfall. Okay? So I'm going to grab this precept real quick. To show you that the Most High, who the world calls God, which his name is Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shah, controls everything, man. They control the minds of the kings for his purpose, okay? Okay, let me get this real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. And it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. And as the rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. So the Lord controls the minds of the kings. He controls the kings. The modern day kings are the Edomites. Over there in Europe, the NATO, the European system, which is the beast system according to the Bible. He controlling all that, man. That division amongst them. The division amongst the Edomites over here in America, which is Babylon the Great, or the whore. When you read into Revelation, the 17th chapter, it tell you about the whore that rideth the beast. And like I say, the whore represent America, and the beast represent the European system, or the European nations over there. Their military, NATO. And America and NATO, they are allies. Okay, so that's that beast. Doing business with the whore. And to show you that America and Europe go together, because America is an extension out of Europe. America originally came from England, okay? Then they came over here to the shores of America, you know, took over the Native Americans, which are the Native Americans are one of the sons of Israel, going back to Gad, you know, and Reuben and Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, okay? And they took this land from them. The Edomites that came from Europe, that came from England and came over here and settled and renamed this land America, okay? So that's why you see majority of the laws that the European system, what they put in, America follow the same laws, man. The same penal codes, okay? Because they both are the same. They're Edomites, okay? And they're allies. But the Lord is bringing that division amongst them. Okay, so I'm going to get back into the article. And it says the UK finally left the EU on Friday evening after 47 years of membership, marking one of the biggest political and economic shifts in modern European history. It's prophecy, man. And it said Brexit brings about the end of the tumultuous 3.5 year departure process that has caused turmoil in the UK for 3.5 years, man. You know, they've been going back and forth, man, over the whole discussion about the Brexit, over political rights, you know, the economy. Because worldwide, man, it's a global economy effect, man. You got the economy of the European system falling, you know, America, you know, and America is the, you know, one part of time all nations dealt with America, dealt with the dollar of America, that dealt with the euro, but now it's have no value because you got all these other nations outside of Europe and outside of America, you know, pulling away from the dollar and going about to establish their own current currency, you know. But we know that this global economic effect is going to come to the point that it's going to be a global crash in the elites, which is the so-called Illuminati, the top Edomites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, that's over the European system, you know. And they're going to implement that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. All you're seeing, the next currency or the big thing in Europe is that RFID chip, the mark of the beast. And over here in America too, man, you know, you got trends of it over here too, you know, because that's what they want to push, man. And the ones of our people that take that RFID chip, that mark of the beast, you're going to be destroyed by the thermonuclear missiles and by the hands of Yahweh Shai. And it says, Brexit brings about the end of tumultuous 3.5 year departure process that has caused turmoil in the UK political establishment, economic uncertainty, and heightened tensions between the UK and the EU. Its largest single trading partner as a bloc, the departure on January the 31st also marks the start of the transition period in which the UK remains a member of the single market and custom union and brings negotiations with the EU to strike a free trade deal. During the transition period, the UK will not have voting rights on the EU matters, but will still be bound by EU rules. Okay? The UK government has set an ambitious deadline of the end of 2020, which a deal must be reached. Otherwise, it will leave the single market with no deal and will have to revert to the World Trade Organization rules. So basically, that's it on the, the article. Showing you how the Most High is, bringing division amongst these European nations, man. You know, amongst Edom. Okay, and that's all biblical. As I'm gonna get this scripture, cause that's playing a big role into the Esau downfall, the division amongst themselves. So this is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And this is Yahushua speaking. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So you're seeing that, man. You're seeing the fall of the European system. And you got many more European nations that want to leave out of the EU, you know, that want to break up from the NATO, so this is prophecy, man. And Yahweh shall say that every kingdom that's divided against itself shall not stand. So that's going over there in Europe right now. You know, you got the protests, the uproars of the people with the yellow vests and different other protest groups out there. You know, over here in America, you got the division, like I said, amongst the government, the right wing versus the left wing. You know, the Republicans versus the Democrats, and all of them work for the same government, but they can't meet on the same terms, man. It's division, and all that is the spirit of the Lord bringing down this kingdom, okay? Because you got Europe and America got to worry about war with Russia, another set of Edomites, you got to worry about war with the Iranians, the Chinese, the Koreans, and all other nations that coming against the European system in America, and those Israelis down there, them fake Jews, man, which they are Edomites too. So the Lord is bringing division amongst these Edomites, man, and the Lord say that it gonna be straight, it's gonna be difficult, they're trying to keep their kingdom going because it's at the end. They're trying to, keep it. They're trying to keep their kingdom afloat, but it's constantly sinking because it's the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And it says, Matthew chapter 12, verse 26. And it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And Satan, you Edomites, represent the counterpart. You are the counterpart, and you represent the spiritual demon Satan. Because you're doing the bidding of Satan, man. And all the wickedness that you done, did by witchcraft, deceivingness, bloodshed, and taking over lands. Now the Lord is finally bringing that judgment upon you, man, and bringing your kingdom down. Because you are the wicked. And the Most High, Yahushua, is about righteousness. And he about to set up his kingdom with his people, the nation of Israel. And it's going to be a righteous kingdom. And you devils are going to go into captivity under the Israelites, under the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? So this what it's leading to. That's what it's leading to your kingdom being divided to the point when the Lord going to make all hell break loose, man. And that's what you're seeing, man. That's all you're seeing, the outbreaks of disease, pestilence, plagues, uproars of the people, famine. This is the Lord bringing judgment. The economy crash, civil unrest, division amongst the nations, This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Who's the modern day Egyptians? the Edomites. You know, because they got known about ancient Egypt. They ruled and they had the children of Israel in captivity, in bondage. Okay? And the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the nation of Israel, just like how we've been in bondage back then, we're in bondage again here in these last days under the modern day Pharaoh or the modern day Egyptians, which are you Edomites. You know? Because not only that, you got Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in captivity here in America, but you got them captivity too, captives in Europe. You know? So when the Lord said He going to put the Egyptians against the Egyptians, you know, representing the modern day Egyptians, the Edomites, and they're against each other, man. The system is breaking all up, man. And it's all the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. So that's what you're seeing, man. That's what you're seeing. The division amongst these Edomites. You know, the whole thing about the Brexit. The UK, Britain leaving. And like I said, you got other talks of other European countries that want to leave the EU. Okay? Over here in America, you got the division amongst the American system. You know? You got the whole elections coming around the corner. You know, if we make it there. You know, but how things are starting to, you know, the prophecies starting to come full force, man. You know, things are happening quickly, man. You know, this could be might be the last year of America's existence, man. But we already know, man, the time's coming short. And the Lord is about to bring destruction to America. You know, that's what our job is, to go out here and prophesy and tell you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans these things. To be prepared. You know, and come back and repent and serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua. If not, man, you're going to be part of that 2/3, man. And the ones of our people that are going to get cut off according to the scriptures and going to get put to death. And you're going to take the same fate as the heathens here in America. You know, and that's scattered amongst the wherever they at on the earth, man. You know? Because the Lord is only concerned about his elect, the 144,000, and that 1/3. But 2/3 of our people, they're going to, you know, get the same judgment as the heathen. That's going to be, you know, death by pain. You know? So that's what we're telling our people, man. That's what our job is, man. To give warning to the nation of Israel and to these nations too, all nations as well. But we telling them that they're not gonna make it in the kingdom of heaven. That they're not gonna be with us. They're gonna be our slaves, man. They're gonna be under us. That's what their future is. Like I say, when the smoke clear from those thermonuclear missiles, and Yahweh Shah, when he returned to fight against these nations, military, you know, he's going to set up the kingdom of Israel here on the earth, and the nations that's going to be reserved from those thermonuclear missiles, those heathen nations, they're going to be saved for captivity, you know. And you know, and another thing too, man, the Yahweh Shah, you know, is when he come back, man, he's going to fight against these European countries, man, these European nations, you know, NATO. You know, and that's in the scriptures, man. So if we seeing that division, matter of fact, I'm going to get this real quick before I get into that. Okay. Let me see. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and get it. I get it. Okay, this is going into the book of Revelation. So like I say, man, Yahweh Shah bringing that division amongst Esau, Edom. You know, because we're in the time of Yahweh Shah return, and when he returned, he's gonna fight against the European nations, you know, which NATO, you know, they great alliance, you know, and they military right along with America, and during the time of World War III, because then we're on the verge of World War III now, and the Lord is going to gather those nations over there in the Middle East to fight this Third World War, and then in the midst of that, Yahweh Shah is going to return, and they're going to fight against the Lord. They're going to stop fighting against each other, and the Lord going to put the spirit on them to fight against him, and they're going to lose, man, miserably. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 12. And it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings, which received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." So this represents those NATO nations. You know, during this time, basically when all hell breaks loose, and the war is at this climax, you know, when it's about to come down to those thermonuclear missiles being shot off, they're gonna get together in that 1 hour, man. The spirit of the Lord is gonna be on them, man. You know, to come up against America. You know, bringing that division. And it says, "These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them." And the Lamb represent Yahweh Shah. You know, so that's the point right there. One of the points I wanted to make. You know, that they're gonna fight against Yahweh Shah when he returns with the chariots, and with the host of angels. You know, and they're gonna lose, man. And it says, "And these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and kings of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen, and all faithful, So that's why you're seeing these nations gearing up their military, talking about Space Force. You know, during the late 1980s, you had Ronald Reagan talking about, a space program. If all of us got a common enemy, will we put our difference aside and fight that common enemy? Which they talking about, Yahweh Shah. Because back then they were seeing UFO sightings, and they were worrying about an invasion. And they paint the image of the so-called UFOs, inside the UFOs being green creatures, gray, monsters and all that, man. Where they portray and blaspheme, the angels. Because the angels really are so-called black men, and Yahweh Shah too, man. And when they come back, man, they're going to make war. And Esau know these things, man. That's why the UFO sightings are constantly increasing, and that's a force that ain't going to be able to deal with, man. But their weapons ain't going to be able to deal with, And it says, in verse 15, "And he said unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues." So that's going into America, Because like I say, man, the Most High has been bringing division amongst the European nations, the European countries over there, against the allies over here, America. So that division of Esau, Edom, man, Satan casting out Satan. And it says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, it shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigned over the kings of the earth. So that's going into how the Lord is going to allow these European countries, man, NATO, going to turn on America at the end of it, during the time of World War III, and launch their missiles on America and all the other countries that's going to have the nuclear capability to send their missiles in that 1 hour to destroy America. Because it's going to be the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It's going to be the spirit on these other nations that's going to launch their missiles on America and totally destroy this place. Called the wickedness. And the ones of our people, Salaki, the ones of our people, you Israelites, if you're not in the good graces of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and you're not part of the Lord's elect, or praying and hoping to be part of the Lord's elect, you're not going to be saved from those missiles. Because the only way you're going to be able to be saved when Yahweh shall return with those chariots. Because while those missiles are going to be on their way, Yahweh Shah is going to be getting busy too in the midst of destroying nations, militaries, destroying countries with those chariots, with them fire, and that the midst delivering the elect that's scattered amongst the world, amongst the nations, So that's the only way, especially in America, man. If you don't got a seat on that chariot, man, the ticket to those chariots, being part of the Lord's elect, you're gonna be caught up into those missiles. Like I said earlier, man. And the ones that take that RFID chip, that mark of the beast, that's a guarantee that you're gonna be destroyed by those missiles. And if you don't take the mark of the beast and still hoping in this place and not trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you're still gonna be destroyed, man. Because eventually it's going to be, if you're going to be part of the Lord's elect. And the only way you're going to be able to make your chances that you're part of the elect, first of all, by praying and hoping that the Lord choose you, and giving diligence, having faith, pushing the word, leaving off the ways of this world, coming back and serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, That's what's coming, man, those missiles, man. And we're in the time of the Lord bringing that division amongst the Edomites, and they're going to be a trickle effect, man, a domino effect, man. Everything's starting to, all the prophecies starting to be fulfilled, man. They're starting to come together, man. So it ain't gonna get before it get better, it's gonna get worse, man. It ain't gonna get better till Yahweh shall come back and rejuvenate the earth with his rulership, and his people, being on top, man, and we ruling in righteousness. But for right now, man, it's gonna get worse and worse, man. And we're seeing that, man. So the Most High, doing prophecy, man. The apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, they call this year the year of prophecy, man. 2020, and that's what we're seeing, man. So more and more prophecies to look forward into, and in the same time, man, brothers, keep watch. Yahweh shall say prayers, watch as well as pray. Keep pushing, studying, reading, fasting, and keep enduring, man. You got the Passover coming up, so things is speeding up, man. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is about to fulfill all the prophecy. Because the Lord said that his counsel shall stand. So I pray and hope that this lesson is edifying to the ones out there listening. Till next time, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakah Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and that's laboring in the doctrine and in the ministry of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. And salutation to the fellow laborers as well in the ministry pushing the word of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai in all truth and sincerity. Till next time, Shalom.